we get started, I have to say, I have a testimony. My prayers have been answered. I have Ingrid here on set with Pastoral Ministries. And speaking of prayer, seems like we have the right people talking about prayer. Ingrid, it's so nice to see you today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Such a beautiful smile. All right, so today we have updates from Pastoral Ministries of what events are coming up this month of May, and they have one of the most exciting movies being shown tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes.
Hidden Figures. So Lois, why don't you tell us about this movie that's coming up being played tomorrow?
Absolutely. This is one that we have been waiting for quite a while, and we've been talking about it and talking it up, and residents have been really excited about it, and we're excited to show it. But Hidden Figures, tomorrow in Village Square Theater at 1 o'clock. We will be showing this movie, and I finally had the opportunity to see the movie, and Ingrid has seen it as well. But I was so glued to my television set watching. I mean, it is filled with inspiration about these three African-American women in the early 1960s, and the setting is at NASA, and I don't want to tell too much of the story for people who haven't actually seen it, but it shows these great strides that these women were able to make during those times, during some really difficult times, and the value that they had at NASA, what they proved in terms of their worth, their knowledge. I mean, brilliant, brilliant women. And certainly overcoming so many different barriers. They were engineers and mathematicians and human computers who really contributed significantly to what NASA was able to accomplish, in particular with John Glenn's launch. So again, don't want to give too many of the secrets away, but it was absolutely fantastic. I watched the movie the whole way through once, and then was so drawn to it, and the message is so powerful that I went and got my 10-year-old son, and I said, okay, this is a movie that you have to see. You know, other than some very mild, you know, profanity, it's very mild, the message is extremely powerful. I know, Ingrid, you watched it. I think you watched it with your daughter?
Yeah, I did, and it was really powerful. She was after me for me to watch the movie, to see the movie, and we finally got to see it. And it was uplifting. Very uplifting.
I would say when I saw the movie, I saw it with one of my good friends from high school, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I cried a little bit. Like it was just such
real tears.
Yeah, it was such a real powerful movie of just like just the determination to succeed and not give up. Because let's just be honest, if that would have been me, I probably would have snapped like the first week. Like I wouldn't have been able just to compose myself with all the stress. Because those women had problems not just in the workplace, they have personal issues going on and just all that pressure. But they maintained their composure and still just made just awesome achievements.
Absolutely. I think you know, as you watch the movie, I know at least when I did, you know, you kind of find yourself rooting for and cheering on these women as they're, you know, overcoming all these different barriers. And you know, I can think of a couple scenes in particular where I was right there with them, you know, and the women are very well portrayed. By the actors who I think really captured so much of their characters and brought them to life. And you know, these were women that, you know, probably most of us had never even heard about. You know, they were and oftentimes the behind the scenes women and people who make things happen, but you never know about it. And so that this movie has been has debuted and has captured so many hearts, and it's one that you would want to have in your video library, one that you can watch over and over again, because the message it's timeless.
It is very timeless.
It sure is.
It's such a good movie. So residents, if you have nothing to do tomorrow,
or even if you do,
stop your plans. Go see this movie, Hidden Figures. It's going to be in the Village Square Theater at what time?
At 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock tomorrow. So I don't care what's going on. Drop what you're doing. Go see this movie.
Go see the movie. It's about 2 hours.
All right.
It's about 2 hours. So just come prepared to be encouraged and inspired and uplifted.
All
We
right.
won't regret it.
All right. Unfortunately, we can't talk about this movie the entire time.
Forever.
Yeah, I know. I wish we could. But Ingrid, I want you to tell me about this National Day of Prayer that's coming up. Since my prayers were answered, let's talk about prayer. So let's tell me about this National Day of Prayer that's coming up.
Very exciting. We're going to have 7 prayer stations. This year is going to be different. We're not going to have a service per se, but we're going to have we want to call it a journey through prayer. So we're going to have 7 prayer stations around in the chapel, and we're just looking forward to it.
It's, as Ingrid mentioned, we are trying something different this year. So the 7 prayer stations, we'll start out with the blowing of the shofar. We have someone who's going to come in and do that for us. We'll gather outside, because some people were trying to get more of an understanding of what we're doing this year. And so just to give residents just a little quick more insight into what we're doing. We'll start out with the blowing of the shofar, and then we'll go into the chapel. There will be those 7 prayer stations that Ingrid mentioned, and those 7 prayer stations are the 7 centers of influence in society. And just let me run through them really quickly. They represent government, military, media, family, houses of worship, education, and business. And so at each of those prayer stations, and this is based on the national theme, you know, this is a National Day of Prayer. And so people will be able to come in. There will be music playing. A number of our residents and one of our staff will be playing, and they'll fill that 2-hour time period. It's from noon until 2 o'clock this coming Thursday, which is designated the National Day of Prayer. We'll have musicians that will be playing. In most parts, I think about 15-minute increments, with the exception of one resident who'll be playing for half an hour. But it'll be conducive to just people being able to come in. There's no particular order. They will come in, they will journey to each of the prayer stations, whatever they're drawn to, and then they can kind of come and visit a specific station or stations, go back to their seats, go back to the pew, reflect, and maybe get up and go and visit another one. But they'll come as as they're able, and leave as they need to.
Yeah.
So it'll be an open 2-hour time period, again with the reflective music playing in the background, so that people can take that journey through those prayer stations.
Will there be a leader at these stations kind of leading the prayers? Because I've been in situations where they've kind of had stations with prayer, and then there wasn't a leader, and everyone's just awkwardly sitting there.
Right. So there will be people who will be staffing each of those stations for people who want someone to or need someone to pray with them. They will be able to do that. If they don't want that, that will be fine too. There will be lots of things that will be placed on those tables, which represent the prayer stations, where they'll be able to observe them. Hopefully it will prompt and promote more prayer, and then they'll be able to take those things, some of the items, and go back and write out their own prayers. We'll be making a prayer line. You remember the old clothes lines? We used to hang our laundry out to, I'm dating myself, hang our clothes out to dry, but we'll have these little pieces of paper where we'll take those prayers and we'll create a prayer line, stapling those prayers, and then they'll be displayed in the chapel. So I think it'll be a really meaningful event. Again, it's something that we're trying. It is new, and we'll see where it goes this year.
Well, it seems like a good event. I like that you have it separated into different sections, like media, business, government, just the real, as you said, themes of influence.
Absolutely.
So that seems like a real good event that's coming up.
Yeah, and I think it's good too that people will be able to come and go. You might not have 2 hours, so maybe you have 5 or 10 minutes, and you can come in, and it's residents can come, staff can come, and we want to, want people to feel free and encouraged to take advantage of this opportunity.
So you hear that, Green Spring, you can come and go. It's allowed, so you don't need a crowd around the back to sneak out. So you're allowed to sit in the front. I see that we have about 3 minutes left, and I see something else on this flyer called the, if I'm pronouncing it right, the Bibliodrama?
Bibliodrama.
You want to tell us what that is? That sounds really interesting.
You want to start us off, Ingrid, or?
Go, Ingrid.
So, how many minutes did you say we have?
About 3 minutes.
Okay, so about a year and a half ago, a resident came to us and had this idea of something that she had seen actually outside of Green Spring, and it's called a Bibliodrama.
Okay.
And so she shared what she had seen, and also the names of the persons who had actually put it together. So two people, two women, Felicia Lightfoot and Joanna Durham, will be coming on Tuesday, May the 9th. And this is something that we're also doing because this month is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms. But they will have certain characters, Bible characters, that they'll be announcing, and it's for women and men.
Okay.
And everyone, whoever comes, can look at the array of characters that they'll be presenting on that day, choose a character that resonates with them, and they will actually be able to, if they want, to act out that particular character. And other people will be able to observe it, and then there will be discussion about it. So,
oh, that sounds actually pretty interesting. So you're telling me that people are going to pick a Bible character, and then they can interpret and act out
and they
that
can
Bible
act
character.
out that character. Absolutely.
Wow, that actually seems like real fun.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to highlight these characters, and everybody doesn't see the same thing in every character, but I think we can all see ourselves in some way in certain characters. So whatever character they're drawn to, they will have the opportunity, and they don't have to. You can just come as an observer if you don't want to talk, if you don't want to get up and act out this character. But on Tuesday, May the 9th from 10:30 until noon in the chapel. Just come. And again, it's for women and men.
Yeah.
We're celebrating Mother's Day, which is also the reason why we're showing Hidden Figures. But we thought this would be a good way, another vehicle or avenue for people to be able to express themselves in the way that they feel drawn to. So.
I was thinking you can even learn something different, because I know when my church has Bible studies and stuff, what you learn from other people and their interpretations of characters or like different Bible people is different than yours.
Yes.
Like someone brought up one time, a long time ago, the character Joseph, and they were just like, he was a mother's boy. He was the pretty boy, and I never thought about it that way. He was daddy's favorite, and I was like, that totally changed my perception of that character in the Bible.
Absolutely.
So you can learn a lot from this. This actually seems like a very
can.
cool event. So this is your first time doing it, right?
It's the first time doing it, and if people really like it, we're looking to do it once more this year. So this will kind of be a little test to see where it goes.
Well, I hope it succeeds.
Me
so
too.
Reiterate the dates and make sure people know what time and place it's going to be at.
Okay, you want to do that?
So it's Tuesday, May 9th, 10:30 a.m. in the Green Spring Chapel. So I'm very excited to see which character they're bringing and how they're going to be portraying.
You should
it.
come.
You hear that, Diane? They're inviting me, so I'm going to come and just come and spectate. I might even act out a person. So
There you go.
Stay tuned for that. I might even act out a person.
That sounds good. And then join us on May the 10th for engaging in difficult conversations with Rabbi Aft. We're looking at fact versus feeling.
Ooh, okay.
So so next week is May 9th and 10th, and this week is May 2nd and 4th. So I think we have some really good events lined up.
Sounds
for
like it.
everyone.
That's only the beginning of May, so I can't wait to see what the rest of your events are going to happen for the rest of the month.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, but our time is up. I am so happy to see that you're here. You don't know how touched I am to see that you're here today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Stay tuned, Green Spring. We're going to talk with the Green Spring Players because there's a play coming up. Speaking of drama.
Drama.
Wow.